Coming up tonight on TV5 News.
I'm Mark Despotakis, and coming up next, the latest on contract negotiations between APSCUF and the State System of Higher Education.
Hi, I'm TV5's Gemma Menino. Will snow ruin our weekend? Find out next.
Plus, water rates are decreasing in one local community. Details coming up.
I'm Donner. Coming up in sports, the Yankees will meet the Braves in the World Series, and the Browns make a trade with the Dolphins.
Plus, if you love Flutie Flakes, just wait, another pro star is coming out with his own brand of cereal.
I'm Carolyn Kelly, and coming up next on Entertainment Beat, you'll find out what's going on here this week at Clarion.
Join us next as TV5 News at 8 brings coverage closer to home.
This is TV5 News, bringing coverage closer to home.
Good evening and welcome to TV5 News. I'm Dave Marsh.
And I'm Christy Herman. Mark Despotakis joins us from the TV5 newsroom with details regarding the negotiations between the State System of Higher Education and its faculty union. Mark?
Thanks, Christy. We've been reporting a lot recently about contract negotiations for the State System of Higher Education faculty. Well, tonight we decided to go in depth and look at the issues that play into the possibility of a final contract. Negotiations between the Association of Pennsylvania State College and University Faculties and the State System of Higher Education Board of Governors resumed at 9 a.m. this morning in Harrisburg. Reports this afternoon were that the talks were held until 10:45 and then recessed until 2 p.m. this afternoon. Talks between the two sides have been going on since earlier this year. APSCUF's contract with the state system expired on June 30th of this year, but the faculty has been teaching at the 14 State System of Higher Education schools since that time without a contract. The latest news on the talks is as follows. The state system has offered a one-year contract extension that will be retroactive to July 1st, 1999, and it would include a 2% general pay increase in the fall semester and a 1% general pay increase in the spring semester. APSCUF has rejected this proposal due to the fact that it only is a one-year contract extension and it would only create new contract talks next year. There is also a 3-year proposal on the table from each of the bargaining teams. The state system's proposal would have 2% general pay increases in the first year, a 2% general pay increase in the fall of 2000, a 1% general pay increase in the spring of 2001, a 2% pay increase in the fall of 2001, and a 1% general pay increase in the spring of 2002. APSCUF's 3-year proposal includes a 3.25% general pay increase in the first year, a 3% general pay increase in the second year, and a 3% general pay increase in the third year. Now, the latest word that we have heard is that contract talks resume this evening at 6:15. We haven't heard anything that's come out of those talks just yet, and that the talks will continue into tomorrow if necessary. We will keep you updated on the story. Live in the newsroom, I'm Mark Despotakis. Back to you, Dave.
Thanks, Mark. On the afternoon of March 3rd, Melissa Pierce of Clarion started to break into cars and steal purses. Pierce's boyfriend, Dale Gabler, also accompanied her in those crimes. The two were out of work last spring and thought it was a good idea to get money. Gabler and Pierce threw a rock through Joanne Page's car window and stole a purse, took the credit cards and money, and dumped the bag along Interstate 80. More vehicles have been broken into since the event. Pierce was held over for trial by District Justice Greg Long after hearing testimony from witnesses. And it is believed that a Clarion Borough official will approve a 2000 budget holding real estate taxes at current levels. Council members are set to meet on October 25th to discuss the budget and were told previously that there should not be a hike on the tax for 2000. Additional financial help for the borough may come in the form of legislation aimed at municipalities with high concentrations of tax-exempt properties. Final budget figures will be available this week.
The Clarion County Records Improvement Committee was notified that it is a recipient of over $12,000 in State Archives and Records Management grant. The matching grant from the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission will help to purchase shelving for the record storage in the former county jail. The money is to be used to line 15 of the 16 cells in the former county jail to hold house county records. Commodes from the cells have been removed and the cells are now plastered and painted before the shelving in the facility was lined. One cell has remained intact to illustrate historical significance.
A prisoner who overpowered a guard, stole his gun, and escaped from the Lawrence County Sheriff's van yesterday remains loose today. State police are searching for 25-year-old Terry McNellis. McNellis, a convicted armed robber, was being transported from a sentencing hearing in Lawrence County to the jail in Crawford County to serve an armed robbery sentence. Apparently, he escaped from his handcuffs, forced the guard to drive to Erie County, tied him up to a fence, and stole a pickup truck to drive away in. Later, McNellis left the truck and stole a black Ford Probe. The man loose is considered armed and dangerous and has used guns in the past. An 18-year-old David Penwell has finally admitted his role in a robbery spree. The robbery claimed the life of a Pleasantville man last year. Penwell confessed after detailing 2 other versions of the story. After telling what he called the good, God's honest truth, the teen confessed that he and his co-defendants, Walter Wallace May and Terry Nightlighter, robbed a woman at gunpoint after Charles Vanderbeek and drove them to her home in Penwell. Later that day, and in May, they went to Pleasantville. When problems arose, they went to the home of Adele and Frank Makovich on Route 27. There, shots rang out. All 3 face charges on first-degree murder. May and Keitlinger are serving mandatory life sentences. Von de Benken is serving 5 to 12 years in a state prison, and Penwell is being tried as an adult with the charges of second-degree murder.
Farmington Township residents are asking for traffic along State Route 36 to be slowed down. They are asking the Board of Supervisors to support the request to the State Department of Transportation for a traffic study of the area aimed at reducing the speed limits along the road. Area residents took their own statistics and counted over 300 trucks a day, and only about 23 were under the speed limit. The board agreed to support the efforts of the group and will ask for traffic studies. A $300,000 grant has been given to the Knox and Kane Railroad. The grant will help to upgrade its rail line in Clarion, Forest, Elk, and McKean counties. The upgrade includes rebuilding 41 miles of track, rebuilding crossings, and rehabilitating bridges. A total of 5,000 ties will be replaced. The Rail Freight Assistance Program is responsible for the grant. A spokesperson for Knox and Kane said that the work will be done on the entire line and that it will improve safety.
Tap water in Franklin has now exceeded all federal and state safety requirements. Franklin's General Authority, a public panel charged with overseeing the city's water supply and distribution systems, has results that only point to the positive. The water in Franklin is of good quality. 3 types of contaminants were tested for radioactive, inorganic, and volatile. Only 2 of the 30 samples showed a higher average than anticipated. Residents may have some complaints, but overall the water supply is high quality.
Borough residents of Strattonville will see their water rates decrease. This should start to take place near the end of January or at the end of the year. Pennsylvania American Water Company anticipates its ownership of the $550,000. There is a slight amendment in the August 11th sales agreement saying that the council will agree to modify its water rates to equal Pennsylvania American Water Company retail rates prior to the final closings of the sale. According to recent statistics, the average Strattonville customer uses 4,500 gallons of water each month. This would decrease their bill from $31 to $29.
It's work for jurors in a McKean County murder case. The jury deliberating a murder charge against Timothy Williams sent a note out this afternoon asking how long they would have to deliberate before they were considered to be a hung jury. Judge Charles Alexander told the jurors to resume their deliberations. Williams is accused of killing Kane police officer Steve German last winter. He could face the death penalty if convicted. The jury started deliberations late this morning. And coming up after the break, Jeff Say will be here with highlights from tomorrow's issue of the Clarion Call. And firefighters in Sligo will be receiving pagers.
Also, a Pittsburgh teacher sues his school district for age discrimination. All this and more as TV5 News brings coverage closer to home.
In the early years, young children cannot stand on their own. Uniting parents and children is an important part of the life of a community. Stand for Children encourages people to make a personal commitment to stand for the health of children. 300,000 Americans marched in Washington, D.C. last June to support Stand for Children Day. Stand for Children seeks to lift the belief that children need our help to stand.
It's my birthday. I'm the man. It's my birthday.
Exercised lately?
Go for a mouthful. Go for the fun. Go for cakes for everyone. Just one snack is what it takes. And it's go for cakes. Open wide. Stuff your face. There's always room for more Gopher cakes. Empty the box. They're reload. Eat those Gopher cakes till you explode.
Exercised lately?
Till you explode.
Sad, looking back now, the things you go through in life. Scary. The worst thing about being on welfare was at Christmas time. I couldn't get my kids what they really wanted. I had to get a better life for my girls and myself. I got off welfare. I got a good job. Makes me the happiest mother in the world. I live for my girls.
We're not asking you to hire everyone on welfare, just one.
This is TV5 News at 8, anchored by Christy Herman. Dave Marsh. Jen Bevavino with TV5 Weather. Don Ursich with sports. Now from the news team bringing coverage closer to home, this is TV5 News.
And welcome back to TV5 News. Joining us now is Jeff Say with highlights from tomorrow's issue of the Clarion Call. Jeff?
3, 2.
Good evening. Stories set to appear in the latest edition of the Clarion Call include a Clarion University team completes research in Italy, an update of the progress of the new recreation center and when will it open, Dr. Dwayne Brown holds a workshop for faculty, and an update on the fall tuition increase. For TV5 News, I'm Jeff Say.
Thanks, Jeff. And taking a look at headlines from tomorrow's Clarion News today, the Clarion Area Authority delays its Chestnut Street project. Clarion County Commissioner Keith Martin opposes any tax increases for the year 2000, and the Clarion County Courthouse Preservation Committee considers renovation proposals. You can read these stories and more in tomorrow's edition of the Clarion News.
Steubenville Borough is still charging $20 for copies of the borough documents, but according to one borough resident, the fee is not always being charged. Frank Kaiser, who was locked into a dispute with the borough over a right-of-way on his property, gave an example of the borough apparently not following his own policy on the copies. Kaiser said that his wife called the borough last month asking if she could get a copy of the audit of the borough's 1998 sewage accounts, and she was refused. According to Kaiser, his wife was willing to pay the $20 per document fee, but the borough secretary, Jean Barres, told her that she was forbidden to release the copies. No one answered the fee questions, but borough officials pointed out that the copier is mainly used for in-house copying.
And the Borough Council of Sligo has agreed to give Sligo Volunteer Fire Department funds from fire tax funds to purchase pagers for volunteer firefighters. The fire department has discussed getting the pagers for some time now. Sligo Volunteer Fire Department is the only department in the county that does not have pagers. Many reasons were given for the pagers, the main reason being 6 to 8 firefighters live outside the borough and cannot hear a whistle. A price has not yet been determined for the pagers and the 911 service needed on the beeper.
According to officials in the area, a fire in South Philadelphia row house sent a woman and 3 children to the hospital with severe burns this morning. The one-alarm fire started at about 4:30 a.m., and the first floor of the house was fully engulfed in flames when firefighters arrived. Fire Commissioner Harold Hairston said that the building was divided into several apartments, and the fire apparently broke out on the first floor. Hairston says that there are indications that the people in the house tried to put out the flames, but the heat of the blaze was too much for them. According to officials, the cause of the fire appears to have been accidental. It was extinguished in about 30 minutes.
An owner of a lumber mill that was heavily damaged by fire says none of the workers there will be laid off. Terry Smith is one of the owners of CNC Lumber Incorporated. The mill is located in New Germany and employs 123 people. The fire caused more than $200,000 in damage to a part of the mill where freshly cut logs are pushed aside. The fire broke out around 1 a.m. yesterday and no one was injured. Now, 2 people died in a head-on crash in Fayette County when the station wagon they were in drove north in the southbound lanes of a 4-lane highway. Killed in the crash were 92-year-old Leon Montoy of California, Pennsylvania, and his daughter, Janice Montoy, whose age and address were unavailable. The accident happened around 1 p.m. on Route 119 near Uniontown. The driver of the other car, 44-year-old Jill Moulton of Uniontown, was flown by medical helicopter to UPMC Presbyterian Hospital in Pittsburgh, where she was listed in critical condition.
A man who says he has suffered brain damage trying to hang himself in a Johnstown jail has sued the city for the police for negligence. Camille Serafin filed the lawsuit yesterday in U.S. District Court on behalf of her son, Joseph A. Serafin. According to the complaint, Serafin suffered severe and permanent injuries as a result of the attempted suicide. The lawsuit says that Serafin was in jail for public drunkenness in December of 1995 when he tried to hang himself with his own T-shirt. A high school teacher says that has sued the Fort Cherry School District in federal court, alleging that he didn't get a job as a wrestling coach because of his age. 57-year-old Ronald Delapina, who is a teacher at Fort Cherry High School in McDonald, says that the suit that he applied to be the wrestling coach in March of 1998, a younger coach was hired. Fort Cherry Athletic Director Frank Roan told the Fort Cherry School Board at the time that he favored Jason Capatina. capita. Because he was young and enthusiastic, Della Pena says Rome told him he wanted a younger man for the job too. Della Pena is seeking lost wages, benefits, and an interest he would have earned at the district hired him as the coach.
The ladybug beat out the ant and the dragonfly for the title of Blair County's official insect. The Allegheny Mountains Convention and Visitors Bureau announced the ladybug's title yesterday. Students in county schools voted on other official county animals too. They included the black bear as the official animal and the bluebird as the official bird. The tiger lily is the official flower and the oak tree is the official tree. They even have an official fish, which is the rainbow trout. And coming up after the break, Elizabeth Dole makes a public statement about the future of her political career, and the White House and Congress agree to resolve the budget on time.
Also, we will have tonight's installment of the Health Beat, as well as Jen Bevavino with TV5's Weather Center with your local forecast. All this and more as TV5 News brings coverage closer to home.
Introducing new frequent phone hours.
Use the phone just 8 hours a week and get this free phone cradle. Use it 12 hours and get a speakerphone.
Use it 15 hours and get this cool headset.
Or stay on the phone 20 hours a week
And get a pasty complexion.
flabby body, and a great new nickname at school.
Exercised lately?
I would like all my friends to be there. I want my mother to be there. My hair's gonna be done so beautiful. A lot of music, a nice blue dress. I want to be beautiful for every single person that goes there. If I got shot, I want to have a nice funeral.
Every day, 10 children are killed by gunfire. Help stop the violence. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT for free information. Not one more lost life. Not one more grieving family. Not one more.
It's not just about making plans. It's about making a difference and taking an interest, not just earning it. At Edward Jones, it's about more than investing. It's about knowing you.
My every hope, my life, my world, it all begins with a dream.
Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
In Clarion, see Gary Martin, located on Main Street. Phone 226-7896.
Welcome back to TV5 News. Elizabeth Dole has dropped out of the Republican presidential race. She announced at a Washington news conference that she wouldn't match the money of George W. Bush or Steve Forbes. Dole told supporters that Bush and Forbes have a money advantage of 75 or 80 to 1. She added that it would be futile to continue. She voiced disappointment about the emphasis on money. She said that in the real America, it's more important to raise issues than to raise campaign funds. Dole said she does not see herself endorsing anybody for now. She also said she hasn't considered whether she would accept the vice presidential nomination if it were offered. The French government is vowing to do everything possible to apprehend a former cabinet minister convicted of World War II crimes against humanity. 89-year-old Maurice Papon has disappeared. He's left behind a note saying he's gone into exile rather than face a court hearing to appeal his 10-year sentence. Papon was convicted last year for his role in arresting and deporting nearly 1,600 Jews while he was a senior police official in France during the Nazi occupation. He denies the charges. In his statement, Papon said he would return to France when Republican legality was reinstated in the country.
Lawmakers and President Clinton are getting down to business on the federal budget after pledging to resolve their battle within a week. Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott says congressional Republicans and Clinton agreed in a White House meeting yesterday not to tap into Social Security surpluses to pay for any new spending. Clinton's budget chief began in intensive negotiations on Capitol Hill today. The two sides are trying to resolve disputes that have been so far blocked the enact of 8 of the 13 annual spending bills for the fiscal year that began 20 days ago. Meanwhile, Congress has passed new stopgap legislation that will continue to fund the federal government through October 29th.
And Hurricane Jose is getting stronger as it races towards the Leeward Islands in the eastern Caribbean. A hurricane warning remains in effect for a string of islands, including the U.S. and British Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. At 5 a.m. Eastern Time, the eye of the hurricane was located about 60 miles east-northeast of Guadalupe in the Lesser Antilles. Forecasters say Jose could strengthen to a Category 2 storm soon. Hotels on many islands say American tourists are trying to get home in a hurry. Our Jen Bevavino will give us updates on this story as they become available.
In tonight's Health Beat, breast cancer is the most common form of cancer among American women. It accounts for more than 30% of all cancers. There is no explanation for what causes breast cancer, but scientists have determined the risk factors. Such factors include being age 40 or over, having a family history of the disease, such as mothers or sisters, never given birth or given birth after the age of 30, long menstrual history or starting menstruation at a young or early age, and diets high in fat. These are all increase the chances of breast cancer. You may look for these signs such as a lump or thickening, redness or swelling, or a soreness of the skin. Remember to have a mammogram and to give yourself breast exams. This information is provided by the Clarion Hospital and is not intended to replace consultation with your physician. And joining us now is Jen Bevavino in TV5 Weather Center with a look at your local forecast as well as an update on Hurricane Jose. Jen?
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Bevavino here in your TV5 Weather Center with a look at your Clarion area forecast. Taking a brief look behind me at our satellite imagery map, you'll notice at the moment that we are surrounded by a large belt of precipitation that is coming up from the northern area below us. According to the map, we did receive precipitation today, although that is not the fact. We will be receiving this precipitation later on this week around Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Taking a look at our fronts map, you'll notice that we are in the middle of a high pressure region. We'll see temperatures remain the same throughout the rest of the week. We will remain around the 50s region in our highs. Taking a look at our precipitation map, you'll notice once again today we were free of precipitation, but be looking towards the weekend. Friday we will be seeing some rain showers. Friday and Saturday and Sunday, although, we will be receiving some rain with a mixture of snow included with that. Taking a look at our highs map, you'll notice that we were high today into the higher 50s region. Be aware that temperatures will be decreasing throughout the rest of the week. Taking a look at our lows map, you will notice that we were low into the 30s region today. So be aware, bundle up in the mornings. It will be a little chillier, but it will be warming up towards the afternoon. Taking a look at our 5-day planner now, for Thursday it will be partly sunny with a high of 55, a low of 32. For Friday, rain showers with a high of 55, a low of 37. For Saturday, a mixture of rain and snow with a high of 50, a low of 32. For Sunday, once again, a mixture of rain and snow showers with a high of 45 and a low of 27. For Monday, it will be partly sunny with a high of 50 and a low of 30. That's Clarion's current and extended weather conditions. Back to you, Dave and Christy.
Thank you, Jen. And coming up after the break, Don Ursich joins us with a look at scores and highlights from the world of sports, particularly the dramatic National League Championship Series game that ended in 12 innings.
Also, Carolyn Kelly will be here with this week's calendar of events. All this and more straight ahead as TV5 News brings coverage closer to home.
Standing out from the crowd is easy when you stop in at Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy, girls, or fashion for women, they have it all with many different styles. With our newly expanded shoe and accessory department, you're surely to find that special touch to enhance that new outfit. And if you have a fashion question, our experts are here to help. That's Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall, just off Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m. Sunday from noon till 5.
Where have all the children gone? Long time passing.
Every day, 10 children are killed by gunfire. You can help stop the violence. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT. Not one more lost life. Not one more grieving family. Not one more.
Gone to graveyards one by one. Oh, when will we ever learn?
News travels fast. That's why you need the speed and accuracy of a news team that brings coverage closer to home. Every Tuesday and Wednesday night, join TV5 News for Clarion's only live local newscast on television at 8. Tune in for the latest in regional, state, and national news. Plus, with our newspaper exchange partner, the Clarion News, teaming up to bring coverage closer to home every Tuesday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Clarion's only live local newscast on television at 8 is here on TV5.
Hi, I'm Don Ursich here again with the Sports in 2 Minutes. Despite a number of comeback attempts by the Mets, the Atlanta Braves beat them in Game 6 to take the series 4-2. The Mets' Kenny Rogers walked Andrew Jones with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 11th to score the winning run for Atlanta. This game didn't take anything away from the 15-inning marathon, but the 50,000-plus were treated to one of the best games in playoff history. The Braves will now play the Yankees, which will be one of the rematches of 1996 World Series. Also in baseball news, it looks like the Colorado Rockies will announce Buddy Bell as their new manager. No deal is final yet, says Rockies general manager Dan O'Dowd. He has been considered the favorite to succeed Jim Leyland for the job, who had retired at the end of this season. Speaking of managerial vacancies, it seems as though George Brett has been getting a lot of attention by some interested teams. Brett was mentioned for the Colorado job and has now been mentioned as possible replacement for Mike Hargrove in Cleveland. The leading candidate for Cleveland is now the batting coach Charlie Manuel. Brett, the 1999 Hall of Fame inductee, has not given out any details of his conversation with the team and has made no decisions at this time. In football news, the Dolphins have made a deal with the Cleveland Browns that will send Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to the Browns for their 6th-round pick in the 2000 draft and a conditional 5th-round pick in 2001. Jabbar was bumped down to 3rd string after rushing for only 98 yards in 3 games. Let's take a look now at the college football polls. First, the ESPN coaches poll. At number 1, there's Florida State. Penn State is at number 2. Nebraska stays at 3. Virginia Tech is at 4 with a big win over Syracuse, and Tennessee rounds out the top 5. As for the AP poll, they decided to agree with the coaches for a change, so it is the same. Well, that's going to do it for this week. Don't forget that the Golden Eagles football team plays IUP this week, and if you miss it, tune into TV5's broadcast of the game. Now, back to Dave and Christy.
Thanks, Don. No designer tennis shorts for a couple of guys on the courts in Ashland, Oregon. In fact, they weren't wearing anything at all, except for some tennis shoes. The nude guys drew in a crowd of hooting women before the police moved in to restore a little decorum. The tennis players claimed that they didn't intend to cause a scene. They said they were from out of state and just wanted to enjoy the area of warm weather in the buff on what they thought was a secluded court. Police didn't bust them, but officers asked the pair to don some tennis togs, and then they played on. Here with this week's calendar events is Carolyn Kelly. Carolyn?
Thanks. Let's take a look into what's going on here at Clarion. Tomorrow, catch the Fall Campus Recruiting Day in 248, 250, 252 Gemmel from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. On Saturday, October 23rd, a Madrigal Singers concert will take place at 8 p.m. in the auditorium. And on Sunday, T.J. Sproul will be playing his tuba in the Hart Chapel Theater beginning at 3:15 p.m. Monday, October 25th, the Major Decision Series features Exploring Career Possibilities. This program begins at 5:30 p.m. in 252 Gemmel. And finally, next Wednesday, October 27th, the UAB presents Stephen Banchek, a mentalist, at 8 p.m. in the Gemmel Multipurpose Room. For Entertainment Beat, I'm Carolyn Kelly, TV5 News.
Thanks, Carolyn. If you don't take a fancy to Flutie Flakes, how about Quarterback Crunch? Denver Bronco fans who miss John Elway on the field will soon be able to have breakfast with him. The retired Broncos quarterback will be featured on boxes of the new Quarterback Crunch cereal that will hit the Denver area market next month. Boxes of Frosted Corn Flakes will also feature highlights from Elway's career. Sales of the new cereal will help benefit the Elway Foundation to support child abuse prevention programs. And Jen Bevavino joins us now for one final look at your local forecast. Jen?
Thanks. Taking a look back at Clarion's extended weather conditions, for tonight, it will be tomorrow, partly sunny with a high of 55, a low of 32. For Friday, it will be a little rainy. Rain showers will be expected with a high of 55, a low of 37. And for Saturday, a mixture of rain and snow showers with a high of 50 and a low of 32. That's Clarion's current extended weather conditions. Back to you, Dave and Christy.
Thanks, Jen. That about wraps it up for tonight's broadcast. Be sure to tune in Tuesday at 8 p.m. when Christy Dezort and Brian Cook bring you continuing coverage of local, state, and national news. I'm Christy Herman.
And for the entire TV5 News team, I'm Dave Marsh. Good night.